Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of rulers and parliament for the welfare of society and just government of men, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this land. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our care. Amen.
Correction and approval of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 5th December 2023.
Honorable members, good morning. The record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 5th December 2023 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move a motion for the correction and approval of the said record of votes and proceedings? Any honorable member? Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sittings of Tuesday, 5th December 2023 be considered for correction and approval.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Jara West. Any seconder honorable members? Honorable Member for Kian Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 5th December 2023 be considered and approved. Honorable members, as usual, we look through the record of votes and proceedings page by page, and honorable members may then make their corrections and observations, beginning with page 1. Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Under motion, where the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Regional Integration tabled the motion, I think for record purpose, it should be
Under motion,
Yes.
Roman 2?
It should.
Is it Roman 2, Roman 1, 2?
Roman 1 and 2, both.
Yes. Go ahead.
The motion was tabled by the Honorable Minister for Justice. I think for record purpose, that should be indicated.
This was the other paper. This is the other paper.
It's the other paper. Okay.
Honorable Member, it's noted, but you know, as per the other paper, it should be presented by the Honorable Minister for Trade. Now, but if you go to the record of votes and proceedings for the period in the minutes, you will see that it will be presented by somebody. It will be noted. Any more on page 1? we move to page 2. Honorable members, can we move to page 3? Honorable members, we move to page 4. Honorable members, we now move to page 5. And finally, honorable members, we move to page 6. Thank you, honorable members. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Tuesday, 5th December 2023 be approved without amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Congratulations, Table Office. Clerk, may we proceed?
Questions for oral answer.
Honorable members, as per order paper and order 41(1) of the standing orders, today is questions for oral answers. Furthermore, as a reminder, clause 43 of the standing orders limited supplementary questions to 7 in total, 2 for the honorable member asking the question and 5 among other members. Therefore, we will proceed with the honorable minister's schedule for today to give their oral answers. Clerk, may we proceed, please?
Questions for oral answer by the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture.
Honorable members, as per Order 14.3, because of circumstances beyond his control, we will amend the order paper so that we will give priority to the Honorable Minister for Tourism to attend to some other important matters. Honorable Clerk, can we proceed by calling on the Honorable Minister?
Questions for oral answer by the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture.
Honorable members, I will now invite the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture to take the podium. Honorable members, questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture by honorable members for oral reply. Question number 382 of 2023 by the honorable member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture tell this August Assembly if the Ministry has any plans to construct a national theatre, a national arts gallery, and the rejuvenation of the national troupe in a bid to promote arts and culture? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I thank you and your office for allowing me, giving me the opportunity to answer my question, taking into account that I'm engaged with the bicentenary. A lot of people are sitting at my office waiting for certain issues that are related to it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In answer to the question, Mr. Speaker, allow me to state that the formation of a national troupe, establishment of a national theatre, gallery is a priority program of this government. This project will have a lasting value on Gambian culture, preservation, manifestation of heritage and tradition. For the national troupe, a position paper and concept was developed since 2017, and in fact, an exploratory committee to develop the terms of reference for the troupe was established in 2018. What has delayed further action on this is budgetary constraint. The need for a national theatre, art gallery, and proposed building national museum is also obvious and a major preoccupation of government. Already a piece of land has been earmarked at Burfoot Heights for the said artistic infrastructure under the aegis of the National Center for Arts and Culture of my ministry. The Tourism and Culture Strategic Plan 2023-2020 caters for the formation and operationalization of national theatre, national troupe, national theatre, national art gallery, and arts institute. The cost estimate have been done almost last week. Funding is being sought.
Thank you. Any supplementary, honorable member?
No supplementary.
Any more supplementary questions? Honorable member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Minister, to promote arts and culture cannot also go without enabling the artists to go in and outside the country. Whether your ministry has any plan to issue diplomatic passport to all the top artists of the country?
Your Excellency, I think Honorable Speaker, I think the question is not, his supplementary question is not related to the question before me.
No, Honorable Minister, you're going to decide that.
Yes.
That's the discretion, that's the domain of the Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member, that question is a substantive question. It's not a supplementary question based on the principal question. You may want to ask. You can pose a question to him for him to answer in subsequent sessions.
Honorable Speaker, if you look at the key word here is in a bid to promote arts and culture. My question is also related to promoting arts and culture.
Specific things were mentioned in that bid.
Okay, thank you.
Any more supplementary? Yeah, you have more. Honorable Member for Serekunda West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Member, Minister of Tourism, do mention that they have really taken a great step and arrived at some conclusions, particularly in terms of costing. My question is twofold. Can you tell us how much money are we talking about? And have you factored that in the just concluded budget session?
Honorable members, please remember, in your supplementary question, you ask one question at a time. Okay, Honorable Minister, please go ahead. Your mic.
The member for Serekunda West constituency, I want to inform you that the figures are not before me as we speak, but it will not be a cheap project. It will be a huge one, considering the fact that the population of the Gambia have grown and that the number of artists who are involved in this has increased immensely. The original plan I found there was for 300 people, and I realized that that would be very unfair to the Gambian people. We are now working on trying to have a theater with 1,500 people, and that's why the cost would not be a cheap one. I think you'll be talking about millions of dollars. But we have already started engaging international organizations and institutions to see how best they can support the Gambia, because we are one of the few countries in Africa that do not have a national theater, national gallery, and national arts institute, taking into account that even most developed countries, almost 60% of their budget is generated from this industry. We're losing a lot, and that's why we government is really prepared to see what we can do to invest in this area.
Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you've indicated that national theater is a priority to the government, and in your own words, land has been allocated to the ministry. How soon are you committed as a ministry to kickstart the project?
Thank you, Member for Bakau constituency. We had proposed in our last bilateral discussions in our budget to have an element within the budget of the Ministry of Tourism to be able to fence this area. Unfortunately, it was scrapped from the budget for 2020-24. And we have to resort to other means to see how best we can even start the fencing before we can float the costing to other partners to help us move towards the realization of this very important project in our country.
Honorable Member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your response, you made mention that you are trying to form a new national troop. And there used to be one. Why is it taking long to come up with a new one again?
That's a very important question for the member for Joshua constituency. We want to take due diligence to make sure that once we compose a national troop, every Gambian, every ethnic group, every member of society see himself in that troop. And that's why we have to reach out to a wide range of people who should be identified to be part of that committee to guide government in making sure that we don't make mistake in creating the new national troop, which will be representing this Gambia both inside the country and outside the country.
Honorable Member for Woodley East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are talking about a very important national issue, which is relating to arts and culture. As you know, arts and culture is one pool that can generate revenue for the state. Have you factored the position of the gallery? Have you factored that position? Where it is it the most appropriate place to put that gallery, in your opinion?
Well, this is a very important question, and I remember the former Vice President, Mr. 𝒒𝒐𝒊𝒏, discussed extensively with me about this issue when he was in government. And that's why we have decided to site this place at the Burfoot Heights, that huge land that we gave to the youths of Burfoot for recreational center and mini power stadium and the rest of it. That's where we carved this land to make sure that we have it positioned right in the center of the major settlement in the semi-urban area.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, question number 383 of 2023 by the Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture inform this August Assembly whether the Ministry has started disbursing the tourism grant meant to support the SMEs in the tourism sector?
Thank you for member for Serekunda constituency. No, the disbursement of matching grant meant to support tourism MSMEs has not yet started, as this is earmarked to commence in the third year according to the project design and as per the project appraisal documents. The third year of the project corresponds to July 2024 and June 2025. The way the project has been designed, a management company will be hired first to provide coaching, business incubation services, and capacity building of over 200 MSMEs within the tourism sector before the matching grant is disbursed to the MSMEs with growth potential that will add value to the tourism sector. The draft matching grant manual is currently being reviewed for finalization. The manual outlines the selection procedure, eligibility requirements, and contractual relationship for tourism-related MSMEs, among others. The procurement process for hiring the management firm is nearly in completion, as the contract is expected to be signed within the next 4th week of December.
Any supplementary question, Honorable Member?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Can the Honorable Minister give us a time frame as to when this grant will be disbursed?
Honorable Member for Serekunda constituency, I want to refer you to my answer earlier on. I've indicated to you that will be from July 2024 to July 2025.
Any further supplementary?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Since you have mentioned about eligibility criteria, can you tell us what are the eligibility criteria?
Mr. Speaker, let me just inform the honorable members for Serekunda. These are World Bank guidelines. It is not even within we do the awarding of the contract, but you must understand that this is an international bidding. It is not restricted to the Gambia, because every member of the World Bank is qualified. Can you repeat what you said?
Honorable Minister, can you continue?
I seems to be, somebody's distracting me somewhere on the other side, Mr. Speaker. Deliberately.
Honorable Minister, don't pay attention.
Yes. But let him realize I was a parliamentarian and I know all these tricks. Let me just say, so what happened, there was the contract was, the advertisement was floated all over the world. And then, of course, they shortlisted about 5 companies were shortlisted. Out of these 5, they again shortlisted 2. And they sent it to the World Bank. And those 2 also, none of them met the exact criteria. So to avoid, falling short of our disbursement targets of this World Bank project, they decided to lower down the criteria, the World Bank themselves. And among those 2 companies, one has been identified. This company now, I think the permanent secretary soon, by next week, will sign a contract with this company for them to start work.
Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Just to reinforce the question earlier on asked by Honorable Member Serukunda, I think what he wants to know is the criteria, whether it is donor-funded, international or national. There must be the eligibility criteria that was set, either by the World Bank or by the government. This is what we are asking for, such criteria, please. Because it must be there.
Can I refer the Honorable Member to the website of the World Bank to realize all this? It's all public, it's public knowledge.
Honorable Member for Woodley East.
No, Honorable Speaker, this is a very serious issue, please. We are asking for we cannot go to the World Bank side because you are managing the fund on behalf of the Gambian citizens. So the ministry should be in custody of such eligibility criteria. We cannot go to the World Bank side and get that. It's a very serious issue, please.
Honorable, you must also bear in mind that the minister is not a walking dictionary. Some of those criteria set, he has to make reference to documentation to be able to give you the criteria. Yeah, but he cannot give you that here. That's why he made it easier for you to reference it. If you want to know more about it, you can reference that, or we can ask him to send us the criteria.
But Honorable Speaker, I'm giving little. I cannot do more. Now, I think it's better the ministry to do that and give it to the National Assembly. Because we are giving little, so we cannot do more.
Mr. Speaker, if the Honorable Member for Latrikunda wants to have the website of the World Bank, I do so in the next 30 minutes. You will get it immediately.
Honorable Member for Woodley East.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this particular grant must have been provided for a particular purpose. And I believe that particular purpose could also be urgent. So would the delay in preparation to get the grant not delay the disbursement from the World Bank?
Can you repeat the question, Member for Woodley East?
I'm saying there must be a particular purpose for the grant. And it looks like the steps that we are taking could delay the whole process. Would that not also delay the disbursement from the World Bank?
It will not delay it, Your Honorable Member for Woodley. We cannot delay this project, and because we know the importance of this project, everything that needs to be done must be done to make sure that we don't get delayed.
Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, based on the Honorable Minister's explanation with regards to the selection criteria for the 2 companies that were shortlisted but they could not meet the criteria, could you kindly tell us the 2 companies that were shortlisted and could not meet the criteria? Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I really don't know them because I'm not involved in this. But I would endeavor to send you the name of these companies in the next 20 minutes. You will get it. We have the records there. My PS have taken note and will give you the website and will give you the name of these companies.
Questions for week. Question number 384 of 2023 by the Honorable Member for Old Yundum.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I humbly withdraw this question. Already I have information about the question. I am reliably informed. Thank you. I humbly withdraw.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Tourism, for ably answering to the oral questions posed by honorable members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, honorable members.
Clerk, can we proceed?
Questions for oral answer by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Thank you very much. I now invite the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice to take the podium. Honorable members, questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice by honorable members for oral reply. Question number 309 of 2023 by the Honorable Member for Banjul Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, considering the high cost of rent, restricting rental property to only foreign nationals, demands for payment in foreign currency, among others, could the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice explain to this August Assembly the swift, tangible measures by the government to mitigate this hardship on our people?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Justice has undertaken significant initiatives to address the issue of rent in the Gambia. To systematically examine the existing legal framework, I assembled a dedicated team tasked with scrutinizing the Rent Act to identify and address any existing gaps. The outcomes of this comprehensive review have been compiled into a detailed report. Building on this foundation, the team has now been instructed with the responsibility of drafting a new law. The proposed legislation aims to establish a regulatory body empowered to administer the Rent Act effectively. Central to the functions, this body will maintain a comprehensive register of all rented properties within the Gambia. Furthermore, the law will mandate the registration of all rent contracts with this regulatory entity. A pivotal feature of the new legal framework is the mandatory requirement for all landlords to pay stamp duty on rental agreements. Additionally, the legislation will set forth regulations governing the advance payment of rents. In a move to standardize transactions, the new law will stipulate that rent must be paid in dollars and with the corresponding receipts issued in the national currency. Emphasizing the national currency also extends to the provision that any contract denominated in foreign currency will be deemed invalid and unenforceable. This measure is crucial in ensuring uniformity and adherence to the country's legal and financial standards. Recognizing the need for enforcement and compliance, the proposed law will incorporate an offense section delineating penalties for violations. By meticulously addressing these aspects, the Ministry of Justice aims to create a robust legal framework that not only regulates the rental landscape, but also safeguards the interests of both the landlords and the tenants in the Gambia. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Any supplementary?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you for that submission, very succinct, Honorable Minister. So my question would be, hence the drafting, we are on the drafting part as we speak. What are current modalities as to how to cope the situation as of now?
Unfortunately, the only option we have is to expedite the process that we have started, because we do not want a piecemeal approach to solving the problem. So the comprehensive approach is, like I stated in my answer, is to review the entire legal framework
and come up with a much better and robust and modern legislation to govern and regulate the rent industry. So we're working faster. The team is working hard. Hopefully we'll soon get a final draft that we will quickly have to validate, take to cabinet, and then bring it here for legislation. So we're working towards probably your next session. The bill should be introduced.
Any more supplementary? No, of the questioner himself. It's finished.
No, I'm done.
I now invite the Honorable Member for Lower Salum.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, are you telling that you are not aware of people collecting in dollars here, rent in dollars?
Personally, I have never seen a transaction where its payments are being made in dollars, but of course I hear it like you and everybody in the society that some tenants are collecting rent in dollars. So I had, but I have no proof of it. But like I said, this will be dealt with in the new legal framework.
Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In your own words, Honorable Minister, you've indicated that you've heard from outsiders saying people are charging in foreign currencies. If that is the case, as the legal advisor to the government, what's going to be your best advice to take?
That will require me examine a lot of legal instruments to be able to give that legal advice. I don't want to give that on top of my head because, of course, we all know the legal tender in this country is the dalasi. But whether we have a statute expressly prohibiting, charging the rent denomination in another currency other than the dalasi, and if you do so, what are the consequences? I probably needed to do a proper review. But on the face of it, it doesn't look right. But like I said, we are now going to properly legislate proscribing it. And once we get a clear legislation in black and white proscribing it, then we are clear that it's not permissible. So we are not going to go beyond doubt or asking each other, is it right or wrong? We just come out as a nation and be clear about it.
Honorable nominated member Keba Lamfufana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question has been partially answered with regards to the issue of the legal tender. So I will rephrase. Honorable Minister, you've said that the new legislation which is currently being drafted will take care of the issue of the legal tender. Have you made any consultations with the Central Bank of the Gambia to know whether they have some currently established laws that can take care of that?
Well, even if they do, it will just be a reinforcement with respect to the rent industry. There might be a general law dealing with legal tender. Of course, the consultation will be escalated to the Ministry of Finance, who are the line ministry for the central bank. The bill haven't reached that level yet. Normally, we are at the zero drafting stage. Then it will be sent to a consultative stage. That's when we validate. Then where stakeholders will sit over the draft. And then it will also go to cabinet where the Minister of Finance sits, and the central bank is a sector and he's in charge of the finance policy of the country. So when it gets to the various stages, all those questions will be answered. If there is a law, this will only be a reinforcement with respect to a given industry.
Honorable member for Woodley East.
Yeah. Very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, has the review taking into consideration the effectiveness of the rent tribunals that are set up, because they are also playing a crucial role in the whole process?
We are still at a very early stage, but the idea is we will now come up with a regulatory authority that will, to a great extent, as I conceive the policy from where I stand, probably we will do away with the rent tribunals, and the rent authority will now decide things faster. And aggrieved parties will now have a right of appeal direct to the High Court. So this authority will receive disputes between landlords and tenants, and by the authority or the power vested in the authority, they can deal with these small disputes faster, and their decisions will be final. And if you are aggrieved, of course, natural justice dictates that if you are not happy, you should be entitled to a higher recourse, so they can appeal directly to the High Court. Because the rent tribunal, from the way we're looking at it from the policy standpoint, is causing a lot of problem in regulating rent matters. A simple eviction matter can last in the court for years, just because somebody did not pay rent and you want to evict him, or because a particular landlord is not doing the required repairs that he is supposed to do, and there's a disagreement between you, and you go to court and you last there for 2-3 years. We don't think that is effective. So we will come up with a situation where we'll have a rent, whatever name, whether it's going to be a board or a regulatory authority, we will come up with that when the bill is ready and comes before you. But this authority will have the power to deal with almost all the disputes primarily at their level, and they will give decisions. And if you are aggrieved, you are not satisfied, then you can move upwards.
Honorable Member for 𝒂𝒏𝒔.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, since you've heard, like the Honorable Member of Upper Salem said, since you've heard that some people are collecting rents in foreign currencies, what interim deterrent have you made, like a pressure or a press release to stop certain acts?
I have not done any at the moment. My intention is to deal with the problem holistically, not on piecemeal basis.
Honorable members, I guess some of our concerns are captured in the current legislation, current act. It's just a matter of enforcement. Question number 310 of 2023 by the Honorable Member for Busumbala. I understand he's authorized the Honorable Member for Talending.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
To read the question on his behalf.
Yes, I step in for Honorable Member for Busumbala. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice update this August Assembly on the stages of implementation of the TRRC recommendations and the progress made thereof?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It could be recalled that the TRRC submitted its final report to the President on the 25th of November 2021. In compliance with the 6-month statutory deadline, we launched the government white paper on the 25th of May 2022. The white paper presents the government's position on the recommendations of the TRRC, and it was unprecedented in its scope and content. The implementation of the TRRC recommendations, which were accepted in the white paper, requires a comprehensive and coordinated approach that involves all stakeholders, including government agencies, civil society organizations, and international partners. As a result of close collaborative effort involving all these stakeholders, we were able to develop and launch the implementation plan in May this year at a well-attended stakeholders conference and donor roundtable. The said implementation plan represents the roadmap for the future. In the area of justice and accountability, we are making steady progress towards ensuring that the victims get justice for all the wrongs they have suffered. We have now completed the drafting of 2 critical legislations, which will soon be laid in this August Assembly for enactment. These are the Special Prosecutor's Office and the Special Accountability Mechanism bills, respectively. A joint technical working group with ECOWAS has been formed, and they will soon start work to draw concrete plans to implement the joint hybrid judicial chamber for the prosecution of TRRC-related cases. In conducting these prosecutions, we are creating an accountability mechanism which will consist of a special prosecutor's office, a hybrid tribunal, and a special criminal division of the High Court of the Gambia. The objective of the accountability mechanism is to prosecute offenses that can be prosecuted domestically in the special criminal division of the Gambia, and to prosecute the offenses that are of an international nature under international law in the hybrid tribunal. Concerning reparations, the passing of the Victims Commission Bill during your last session was a great milestone in this regard. We now await the presidential assent for the act to formally come into force. We plan to have the Victims Commission established within the fourth quarter of 2024. The Commission will administer the Victims Fund, where reparations will be paid as well as other needs of victims. The Commission will admit new victims based on the objective criteria, maintain a victims database, and also reassess and establish a fair quantum of compensation for the various types of injuries suffered. The Victims Commission is expected to be the one-stop shop for all victims' affairs. In the area of institutional and legislative reforms, you will agree with me that an unprecedented number of draft legislations are pending before this August Assembly, and be rest assured many more are on their way to being brought before you in due course. During your last extraordinary session, this Assembly passed the Ban from Public Office TRRC Bill, which sought to confirm by statute the banning from holding public office of individuals who were recommended to be so banned by the TRRC. In this current session, this Assembly is expected to consider and pass the Criminal Code Bill, Criminal Offences Bill, and Criminal Procedure Bill, with a view to repealing the existing Criminal Code and Criminal Procedure Acts and reforming our criminal law to be in line with international standards. Additionally, the Evidence Bill is undergoing expert review to ensure compatibility with the Gambia's forthcoming cybercrime laws, set to be tabled before the National Assembly in due course. Additionally, earlier this year, the Government of the Gambia passed, or the National Assembly and the Government of the Gambia passed the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023, thereby domesticating the Convention Against Torture. The TRRC, in its report, noted that different kinds of torture took place in state institutions during the past regime. Thus, this step is very important in our reform agenda, as it will ensure that any person or authority who engage in any form of torture will be held accountable domestically. On peace and reconciliation, the government is well aware of the fact that the pursuit of justice needs to be balanced with the quest for healing and reconciliation. The peace and the relative stability we currently enjoy needs to be nurtured and consolidated through deliberate and proactive steps taken to encourage reconciliation and national unity. To this end, I am pleased to inform this August Assembly that the drafting of the Peace and Reconciliation Bill is complete and is expected to be laid before you shortly. Under the said bill, a Peace and Reconciliation Commission will be established, whose mandate, among others, is to promote healing and reconciliation and to create an environment for the development of national unity and sustainable peace in the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any supplementary?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that loaded explanation. I'm really impressed with the steps that have been taken. You've mentioned about the banning of officials that has just been enacted. I just want to ask, have you started implementing with regards to recommendations made concerning this particular act that has been passed?
Yes, actually, even before we tabled the bill at this National Assembly, those that have been mentioned and recommended to be banned from holding public office and the recommendations accepted by government were all sent on administrative leave. So none of them is currently on duty. So the legislation is just to firm it up, and then it will be followed by some administrative steps to finalize the decision. They've been officially banned. The ban was recommended in the TRRC.